It was a freezing, bitter night in December. The moonlight tried to pierce through, but a thick, suffocating fog had swallowed the crescent moon whole. A terrifying silence hung over the land. The forest was dead quiet, the village home submerged in darkness. Everyone was fast asleep in their warm blankets, completely unaware of the horror awakening in the night. It was midnight. Right at the edge of the forest, on a narrow stone bridge over a ravine, sat a jet-black cat. Its glowing yellow eyes were fixed onto the iron railway tracks, listening, waiting, not for a train, but for something that would make human blood turn to ice. Piercing through the dead silence came the shrill whistle of a locomotive. Inside the cab, the driver, Sadiq Hussein, squinted into the impenetrable fog. But suddenly, his eyes widened in absolute paralyzing horror. Lying directly on the cold iron rails was a line of human bodies, figures wrapped head to toe in white funeral shrouds, lying shoulder to shoulder like a nightmare choir. Panic struck Sadiq's heart. He slammed on the emergency brakes, but the momentum of the massive train was relentless. The heavy steel wheels ground forward, crushing right through the shroud-covered figures. The train finally screeched to a complete stop. Ashraf Ahmad, the train guard, stepped down from the rear carriage with a dim lantern. As his boots hit the snow, a low meow echoed near his feet. He lowered his light and saw the same black cat staring up at him with piercing, unblinking eyes. A sudden icy shiver ran down Ashraf's spine. When he looked back just a second later, the cat was gone, disappeared into thin air. Suddenly, footsteps crunched frantically in the snow. Sadiq, the driver, came running towards him, pale as a ghost, gasping for air. Sadiq babbled in horror, swearing he saw people on the tracks. But when they inspected the wheels, there's no blood, no bodies, only the freezing fog and an unsettling, unnatural silence. As the story moves to a village celebrating the wedding of Neelam and Akbar, but what was meant to be a night of joy was about to become a nightmare for the Qazi, the wedding officiant. The Qazi couldn't concentrate. He kept stumbling over simple words, confusing names and dates. His hands trembled over the register. His eyes were glued to the floor, because under the very sofa where he sat, nestled in pitch darkness, were two glowing red eyes and a dark, clawed shadow watching his every move. The moment the ceremony finished, the terrified Qazi fled without even eating. The bride was taken to the guest house, an old grand building decorated with fresh roses for the newlyweds, but beneath the sweet scent of roses lurked a foul, ancient stench of decay. Little did Akbar and Neelam know. This house had been abandoned for 40 years. It didn't belong to humans anymore. It belonged to the Jinns. Will the couple survive their first night in the empty house? Or will the shadowy entity claim them as its next victims? Find out in Episode 2. If you enjoyed this horror comic narration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with notifications turned on. Stay safe in the dark. Goodbye.